Check out thechosenprime.com in the link in the description below for this and other great items.
Alright, welcome to another Radio Free Cybertron review, RFC Reviews for short. I'm your host, Diecast, and today we have DX9's Tyrant. I almost forgot his name there for a second. So let's just get him off to the side for a second, and we'll take a quick look at the packaging. I belong to nobody on the top with a nice picture of Unicron. Oh, if DX9 did Unicron, that would be amazing. I know that would be a pricey figure, but any third party, if you do a Unicron, I am on board. Up top here, which I'll rotate a little bit, you just have number 7, 2015. I don't know if this is the 7th figure or what. I'm sorry, someone's going to be angry. Tyrant down on the bottom, 86, reference to the movie, very nice. DX9. On the side here you have Cyclonus, which I would assume is going to be another figure that they're going to jump into. I don't know if I've seen a render from DX9 for Cyclonus or not, but on the back here you have just a couple product shots. And on this side, you have their Scourge. And again, that would be another figure I'd like to see them do. And I apologize in advance if there's already renders. But there's just so many companies doing these that I'm not sure what's going on now. And you have the Weebio.com, DX9 Toys, and Facebook.com/DX9 Toys. And since we're talking about Facebook, I also have a Facebook. It's www.facebook.com/reviewsbydiecast. So if you're not following me on Facebook, I definitely recommend you follow me, and it's much appreciated if you do. So that is it for the packaging. It's the same type of packaging that we've been getting from DX9, which is the clamshell packaging. And I did forget to take out the additional gun, or cannon. So here it is. I left it in the box because I don't particularly need this one. It's just the clear. It is a nice, I guess a nice option. I just prefer the gold much better as opposed to the clear. But you can see it does look very nice. I don't know, maybe I just have to try it out. But there's that. And before we get into anything else, let's do a couple comparison shots. So here we have Tyrant looking all Tyrant-y. And the first one we'll do is Hot Rod. Stand up. There we go. Why are you not standing? Just to see how they compare. He's leaning a little bit, but yeah, it looks like a good scale for them because he is still Hot Rod to me. So, and now we're getting a smaller Hot Rod. But thankfully DX9 has done a larger Rodimus, which matches up kind of nicely with Tyrant. Tyrant's still about a half a head, if not a little bit more taller. So there's that. Yeah, Tyrant to me, he's a decent size. So definitely a great masterpiece representation of Galvatron. One of the other movie figure characters that Galvatron fought would be Ultra Magnus. So here he is, a shot with Ultra Magnus. And of course Ultra Magnus trying to open up the Matrix when Galvatron shoots him. So There you go. There's that. And I know they were never in the movie together, but here he is with MP10, just in case you want to see. MP10 doesn't like to stand sometimes either. Just so you can see how they stack up. And Galvatron's about a head taller. Little half a head. So now let's get Prime out of the way. And we'll come in. Actually, before we do any comparisons, I did forget to show the other things that he comes with. He comes with his product card or collector's card, which I do really like the collector's cards. I started to keep a binder of them, so now anytime I get a card, right in the binder. That way I can always flip through them. I don't know. I haven't yet, but hey, I'm starting to do it, so. Then you have his instruction guide. And very nice large instructions. Pretty easy to follow. I didn't have any real problems with it. And then some nice line art on the back. And then you also get, well, there goes the camera. You also get a poster. So, nice drawing Galvatron. Or Tyrant. So, now we got all that out of the way. Let's go ahead and look at Tyrant. And again, the face sculpt is just really impressive on this guy. I really like the eyes. Up top here, top of the shoulders, you have some red paint. These wheel treads in the back can either fold in or you can straighten them out, depending personal preference. I've been folding them in just because you can't really see from the back that you can't really see them on the back that much anyway, except for the side. He does have his chain and matrix, and on this side it's a shame you can see the screw in the back. So there is a front to this, and then you just pull this open, and this was really tight the first couple times, and then you can reveal the power of the matrix and then push that back together, because you can, if you just slide that, these stay out, so you want to push everything all together, or push from those silver bits on the side. And the other thing is, this chain, or the clips, were really hard to get on the side there. You can see I damaged the paint just a little bit on this one, just on this side just a little bit more, but unfortunately the latches were a little bit small for this. What I actually had to do, and what I recommend doing, is kind of pulling this apart first. That way you have a little bit more room in there in the center. And then once you get it latched, then just kind of bend it back together again, if you're going to do that. So I did add the sticker on the front here. I really wish I had one that was just clear background instead of the white background. I think that would have fit much better. So I'm probably going to jump on that Repro Labels, or Toy Hacks, I think they're calling the website now, and get some more labels, or some more Transformer stickers, because they are highly needed on this figure. And you can see his gold cannon on this side. His fingers are each individually articulated, and they feel pretty good. They don't feel like they're going to fall off or anything like that. His thumb is on a ball joint. I must say, I really do like the hands. They have a little bit of play, not too much in them, from side to side, but pretty decent design on the hands here. Now mine did come mistransformed, or not mistransformed, but the parts were on the opposite side. These hip skirts were on the wrong side. And basically, see this slot there on, you want that facing the front of the figure. If you get this and they're not facing the front of the figure, that's how you know they're on the wrong side. During transformation going through it, I could not transform this at all. And that was the reason I just had to pop them off. There's some nice silver paint on there. Some translucent red plastic in there. Some red paint on the knee. And on the feet you have some purple plastic, some gray paint on the front of the foot. Now, a lot of videos it looked like, of the pre-production, it looks like the foot wasn't transformed right or wasn't pushed back all the way because you can see a gap. But there actually is a stopping point in the toe. So this is as far back as it'll go. But it does leave you with a little bit of toe rocker or articulation, if you want to say that. So yeah, that is the properly transformed foot, unfortunately. So it still does kind of look like a horseshoe a little bit. Then the only real negative comment I have is a lot of third parties are going to this, ratcheted upper leg, and the stance is just way too wide. So, but with him you can kind of get it to sit in between those ratchets. That way you can stand him relatively well. I think that's the proper stance that he should be in, because this is just like too straight and this is just too wide. So right in here somewhere would have been nice. Right there, yeah. That's more of a Galvatron stance to me. So let's go ahead and just keep going over all the paint apps. Of course, you have the gray here, a little bit of red here, a little bit of red here, the red on his abs. And then on the side of the figure, you don't have too much. Canon has some silver paint in there. Right there. Some red on the back. And again, the gray chin. The face sculpt's just so nice on this thing. One of the other things that I kind of don't like on this figure, or I wish they could have done a little bit differently, is these, however you want to call these things, shoulder pads or top pylons or whatever. I wish they would have locked in somewhere. I just really don't like that they don't have a spot and they kind of move with the arm. So, I mean, it'll be fine in the shelf, of course, but just going through transformation, it just bothers me that they move so freely. So, arms have a nice outward. You can go out about that far. You can get a little extra wiggle just because of the transformation. Got a swivel at the top part of the arm, swivel at the elbow, double jointed elbow. You have rotation again. I think I said that at the elbow. And then the hands all are on a ball joint. So you get full rotation there. Individual fingers and thumb. And then another issue mine has is the rotation on this arm. Once it gets all lined up, kind of gets stuck. It feels like it's going to break. It's kind of loosened up a little bit, but that's one part that scared me a little bit. But again, DX9, solid figure. These are minor nitpicks. This is definitely a great figure. And there are the ratcheted arms that you can do a full 360 on. Then these hip skirts are movable. If you want to tilt them up, I guess you could. That's kind of the way mine came in the box. They were just tilted up like that. And they looked weird when they were down, but that was just because they weren't transformed right. And waist does rotate. Then the legs ratchet. It's a soft ratchet. It's there, but it doesn't even feel like a ratchet, actually. But they go back about that far. Get about a 90 degree at the knee, which is what you would expect. Do get a rotation at the middle part of the thigh. And your foot are on rockers. And again, like I said, you can angle the toe just a little bit if you want to. And then due to transformation, again, you can kind of get a little bit of backward motion on his foot. You just got to raise it up just a tad. But there is a lot of posing options on him. You can get a pretty good running stance if you want. Looks a little strange, but I mean, you can do it. I'm not the best for posing figures. So some of the people that take photos like Maz, I mean, he can get some of these toys in some incredible looking poses, which is one of the many things that makes his photos so nice. Definitely check him out on Twitter. I follow him. I'm not sure. I think it's at Maz. It might be something completely different, but wasn't expecting to put a plug in there for him. But like I said, it just from trying to pose him, it just kind of made me think of that. So here is the gold cannon, pretty much same as the other one, the clear we were seeing. But this one does come, and I think this is really neat design. This is an everyday flashlight, cheap flashlight that usually comes on a keychain that you can get. And instead of designing electronics for it, it was probably cheaper for them to put this in, and then it just slides in the cannon like that. So if you want to turn it on to give it that laser effect, probably not good for the screen, good for the camera to do that, but you can do that. Just to light it up for a little bit, and then just take it apart, turn it off, put it back together. And even on the clear cannon, you get the same parts. It's a little tighter, but we'll go ahead and do that. Swip this out, put that on there, put that in, flip that on, and again you can see the flashlight inside, but it gives you the same effect if you want to do that. Again, that's one of the reasons I like the solid one better. It's just because I don't want to be able to see the flashlight inside, but you can do that if you want. And let's go ahead and get into transformation on him. Since we have the gun in our hands, first thing we're going to do, pull that piece back. You can see where it slots in right there. That'll allow you to rotate this around. And then just push it together. And that's ready to clip in for the cannon. And then, first thing we're going to do on Galvatron is we'll come in here and open up these hands. And these are just a little tight. There we go. And now, when you open this all the way up, you will see a little tab and a slot on the top of his hand. And I don't really think they needed to do this, and I'm not sure why they did. This is one, they could have left this out, and I think it would have actually made it a little bit better. That way he didn't have to have that ugly hole in the top of his hand. But they tab in. Don't know why they chose to go that route, like I said, because I think this is tight enough that everything would have stayed fine without having to tab the hand on the inside of the forearm. But let's go ahead and do the same thing on this. And again, they're tight. There's also a hole right there. And as far as I can tell for transformation, I don't think there's really a need for that. So that's another area that could have just been solid plastic. And again, it's kind of hard to get in here. If you have nails, you can just get in that gap enough to kind of pull this apart. Or if you want, there is a screw right there. You could probably loosen that a tad. That might help. We'll put the thumb in. Close the hand up. Rotate it around. And then just tab that in. I don't want to push or pull with the fingers because I feel like I run the chance of breaking them. So close them up. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to do that right there. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to unclip the top piece of his waist. And then come back here. And this is already untabbed itself, but you just untab there. And then straighten this out a little bit. And then we can push this piece all the way through his chest cavity. Bring that through. And we'll just leave that out for now. Flip out these upper abs. They rotate up. That'll allow that to rotate out. Again, everything's really nice and tight on this figure, so it's not flopping around or anything like that. So just leave that like that. Come up to the next part. If you get these arms out of the way, like that, flip these purple pieces down right here, and then untab these, and they will just rotate around. That gets them out of the way. And now on the inside of the tread, you can flip these silver pieces out and then flip these purple pieces in. And we'll leave them out for now. Now we'll come up to the top. Just pull his head up and then open this silver piece just like so. Sorry. Rotate the head around. This is another one that takes a little bit of doing. And it just has enough clearance to go inside the center there. And then the other thing you want to do is you want to kind of come back here and just get his head as far back as you can. You want it on the bigger hole where his treads are. So you basically want his head straight down, almost so that that's touching in there, and that'll leave enough room for these arms to swing in. His head just gets all in the way, pretty much. And then the arms, once they're in position, this piece should swing down and tab in. These pieces kind of slide to reveal that tab, and then they tab in on the top of the arm right there. the top of the forearm, whatever you want to call it. And then you just kind of straighten it out so this gray, dark gray, is flush with the lighter gray. So same thing on this side. Rotate this all the way around so the slot is at the top. And rotate this around so it can basically make a 90-degree like that. And then just rotate this so the slot is on the top. And get his arm pushed in there. Straighten it out. Slide this piece down. And then close that all up. And get that tabbed in. Just like that. And that is the top. We can close up that piece. Then also, while we have this kind of out, we're going to rotate it around, and we'll just kind of try and fix his head up a little bit. Again, it's just getting it in there and getting it out of the way of his forehead, you know. And then this piece can come down, and what this will do is peg in right there. So now that we have the arms in the side, we can just come up to the top and go ahead and put the cannon on. You'll see there's two little slots right there. That'll slide in nicely right there on that chrome. Nice and tight again. And we'll flip that down. Now we have the top of the cannon done. And as you can see, this will tab in right here. This purple piece will tab in right there. But we're going to leave this loose, a little loose just for now. Come down to the legs. If you rotate the legs back, that'll give you enough clearance that these side pieces will just come out. Actually, before we do that, lift this piece up, tabs in right there to right there, and then these pieces will rotate out. And around, just like so. You can kind of lift these up, get them out of the way for now. They'll sit just like that. Let's go ahead, come down to the feet. We'll go around to the back. What you want to do on the back of the foot, I'm just going to angle the camera down just a tad. Come to the back of the foot. We're going to open this panel up right there. Tabs in right there. That'll allow this to rotate around. And we can come in here and bring this panel out. And now that we've brought that panel out, there's a little panel right here that will flip up. Just like that. And this will come out. And now we're going to rotate that piece back. And we can start bending the knee. What that's going to do, that's going to allow us to bend this panel down. We can rotate this so the purple panel's on the inside. Bring this up so that's at 90. And then just bring this whole piece around. And I found if you're like one click out, kind of gives you enough clearance. Kind of have to pull the plastic a little bit, but it gives you enough clearance to just rotate that around. And then these pieces are kind of in the way. You just kind of got to get them out of the way enough to close up the legs. Close up this top panel. Rotate this down, and then close that panel up and it'll lock back in. Now that we did that, this foot will swing around, and then we'll leave it kind of just like that for the time being, just till we get this other leg situated. And then you can see this will fill in the top part of the cannon as well. So we're going to do the same thing on this. Get this foot out. Untab this. Pull the back of the leg open. Pull this other panel out. Bring out that panel. A lot of leg panels going on. There's a lot of movement in these legs. I think it's a really smart transformation. And then start bending this to a 90 degree. Slide that purple panel down just like so. And then this is the only part that's kind of hairy when you're just swinging this panel up. And kind of positioning this. Closing it up so everything locks into place again. And then on top here, there's a triangle tab, or bottom part of the triangle. Let's lock that all in. And the last thing you have to do, rotate this foot around, bring that around, and then this all slide in to that. And it says to extend these first, but I have a little bit of an easier time getting everything to line up if you extend the feet pieces last. Again, that's just what works best for me. There's a tab right there. Tab everything. Tab the two legs together in the back. And pull this piece back, because when these purple pieces extend just like that, extend this one, and then they'll come together and they'll create a tab for this to tab into. And this is another part, just kind of takes a little bit of force to click it in there. Close this up first. But once you have everything all tabbed in together, it should there you go. If you push down at the center, that kind of helps. And you'll feel it go a little bit further in. Again, you can see some of the plastic is just shaving just a tad bit off. And then just straighten out these treads, and there you go. There is Galvatron in his tank mode. Again, really nice. The only thing that's kind of disappointing is you can't aim the tank. God, I'm getting tired. Can't aim the cannon up. It would have been nice if you could do something like that. Even if you bend this, it kind of doesn't really work. So that would have been nice. But again, still a really nice cannon. From the underside, you can't really tell too much that this is Galvatron. I'm really impressed with the legs and how nice they look after they're all transformed. It's just a really nice design. DX9 again, you're one of the top for me. Absolutely. I think only behind Fans Toys. And it's going to be really interesting to see what Fans Toys does with their Galvatron. These treads do spin, and then you have the wheel here, so he can be like an assault tank, I guess. It's just really hard to push these along so they spin. So it's nice that they're there, but honestly, instead of the rolling feature, I would have rather have a cannon that could aim. That way you can shoot Starscream appropriately in the chest. Because right now he's just going to be able to shoot his leg. As for size comparison, here he is with Wheeljack. Masterpiece Wheeljack. Just to get an idea how big he actually is. And then I also have, just laying next to me, this would be like a Voyager sized figure. For an idea for scale. And yeah, definitely like it. Definitely a nice masterpiece Galvatron. And I don't know that Takara or Hasbro could do Galvatron any better, honestly. I love Fans Toys Quake Wave, and I don't know that the official is going to be better than that. So, I mean, the argument used to be once Hasbro or Takara do it, it's going to be the best thing out there, and it's going to be cheaper and easier to get. And I don't think that's the case anymore. So, third parties come a long way, and I'm really happy we're getting a nice product like this. So, that's just my thinking right now. Throw another thing in there. Here he is with Make Toys Visualizer. And the purples on these guys actually match up really nice. So they're very close in the color purple. So they would look great standing next to each other if you have those. So again, thanks for watching. Make sure you like my new Facebook page, which is Reviews by Diecast. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Thank you everyone that has subscribed so far. It's been overwhelming the amount of people that have already subscribed to the channel. I couldn't be happier, and I want to thank everyone for that, because it's just amazing. And also make sure you check out all the other Radio Free Cybertron content that we have everywhere you can imagine, and I'm sure you guys already know. We go live Wednesdays at 8:30 Eastern Time, and you can see us on tfradio.net /live. XV is going to kill me if I keep saying /live. Check us out there, and we'll see you next time.